welcome back to the Cookie Chat. I'm Melissa with Missy P Sweets, and this week we are recapping all of the stories that I shared in a week in the life of me fulfilling my back to school pre-orders. Real quick before we get into that, if you haven't already, go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel down below so you don't miss a beat on anything. We have so many fun things that we are offering right now. There's merch, there is a summer school bundle class that is just incredible and we're having so much fun with. So make sure you check all the links below or linked up above to check out all those fun things. And also make sure you don't miss out on Patreon. We've updated some of what we're offering to our patrons and there's so much stuff that's going to be coming to help you guys with a successful holiday season. So with that being said, let's jump into a week in the life. Just a few things before we get started. I've had Missy P Sweets as my business now for almost 4 years, and I love doing pre-sales. My neighborhood has been amazing with embracing pre-sales, and just understand that it can take some time to build up your network for that. I will link to some of our past episodes on pre-sales that are definitely worth a watch. And a little bit of background just personally on my situation during this time. We have an almost 8-year-old daughter and a 5.5-year-old, and they were still out for the summer. And so full time during the day, I am hanging out and doing all the mom stuff with them. So my cookie nights were when I was fulfilling these. And this was all within 1 week after I closed my pre-sale. I will show you guys all of my cookie designs that I did for this back to school pre-sale in just a minute. But first, just a quick note, this year I decided to make it really easy on my customers and on myself, and I just priced everything at $8. So I did all singles and I did one mini. The only thing that I did not price at that are sweet tooth grab bags, which I will talk more about through this process and at the end. Okay, so my pre-sale for back to school closed. The first thing that I do is I go through my emails and I print off all of the order forms. Then I come over and I verify that I got all of the order form numbers. And then I have 2 pickup day options. So after I verify I've got all of the order forms in my hands, then I break it up into which ones are which days. So this pile is one of those pickup days. This other pile is another of the pickup days. And then I go through and alphabetize them so that they are all ready to go when it comes packaging time. And that tip I got from Miss Chelsea. The next thing I do, very similarly to how Chelsea does it, is I look at my quantities for everything in a spreadsheet. And this helps me for multiple reasons. It makes it really easy. I just duplicate a new day, and then I do how many I sold for each design and how many I need to bake. Generally, if it's something that I can easily sell afterwards as a flash sale, I will make like maybe 4 or 5 more. But if it's something that's truly like custom, then I only make 1 or 2 more. And then what I do is come in and do by shape. Because for instance, if I sold a mini bundle, that has multiple of these mini ones in there. So then I come over and I do an equation. My mini bundle has 2 apples in it, but 1 of the ABCs. So then I can see how many actual apples I have to cut out versus the other. Same thing with the backpacks. I have 2 different colors that I offered, but it's all the backpack. Pardon my wet hair. I showered today. What that then allows me to do is total those up and say, how many total regular sizes do I need to have enough dough for? That's funky with this filter. And how many minis do I need to have? The next thing I do is you can open up a Word document, a Canva, whatever, and I start making pages with all of my designs with the packaging in it. And I will show you why in a second. This is why. One of the reasons. I love to have these up in front of me. I still have my sample cookies off to the side, but this just gives me all of this space that I need. And I can just look up whenever I'm decorating right here and remind myself of the designs. Where exactly did I do my doodles? How did I differentiate this one from this one? Things like that. And then I also need to send off my tags to the printer. So this helps me say, okay, this tag goes with that one. I did this one with this one. So I can look back at my Excel sheet and know exactly how many of these I need. Same thing when it comes to packaging, making sure that I have enough bows. I always count ahead of time and try and limit my cookies on my order forms to make sure that I'm not having to rush order anything. But that is how it helps me. And then when it comes time for packaging, I look up and reference exactly what I did on everything too. Good morning, guys. Monday of this crazy week starts. So I did my workout this morning. I've got my water stuff ready to go. You can pop over to Missy P Sweets to get the link to my favorite water bottle. Drinking enough water is just so important. For me, especially, I suffer from a lot of headaches, so I can't do much caffeine. And if you're hydrated enough, it actually will help you have more energy than a lot of caffeine will. So just a little tidbit. But today is focused around, I've got to get our Cookie Chat episode for this week edited and up and over to our patrons for tomorrow. And I'm going to pick up my tags today, and I need to bake because I am doing a cookie night tonight. During the day for me, our girls are still home. So priority is like doing stuff with them, keeping them quiet because Mike works out of the house. So I'm going to be doing my cookies Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night this week. What I am going to do today, though, before we go run errands and go to the pool and do all of our activities, is I keep just one bag each of all of my colors. These, I just left them in my cookie room. I'm not going to use these. The only reason I have these is this helps me color match exactly. I have written down what I used, what colors I used to create these, but when you're making way larger quantities, you have to add more or less to get them to these colors. So this just helps me. And what I'm going to do this morning is go ahead and mix up this red so that it has plenty of time to saturate on its own without adding more color before I come in here and start decorating tonight. Okay, we pooled, we napped, we did lunch, the ones that I had prepared earlier this week, if you were following that on Missy P Sweets. And so now we're just like ready to be in the house and chill the rest of the day. I'm going to get our little one down for a nap. The older one's going to do quiet time. And when they are doing that is when I will be baking the cookies that I'm going to be making tonight and finishing up as much icing as I can. I'll probably have to do some tonight after they go to bed too. But, and the episode this week is exporting. All right, the little one is napping. I am preheating the oven, so I'm going to decide what exactly I'm going to bake tonight. I always like to start out with my more involved-ish designs, so like these, and then leave some of the simpler ones till when it's closer to the end and I'm more tired. So I'm going to cut out all of my letters, my backpacks, my coffee cups. That's where I'm going to start with and see what I get to. This is my baking fridge in the garage, and this is how I store my cookie dough. So I made all of this last week and this weekend, and I roll it to my preferred thickness, and I do it in between sheets of saran wrap. And now that my oven is heated, this is when I take this out because I like my oven to be nice and hot. So I'm gonna take these out and let them thaw for like maybe 5 minutes and then start cutting stuff out. I only take 3 sheets out at a time because that's how my workflow works best. I only have 4 chewa mats. So I rotate through these 4 sheets and then transfer to parchment paper as I need to. I've got both my ovens going, and I know that my dough is ready when I push and it just barely makes an imprint. So this is ready to go. I have a filter on here just to prevent the shadows. So this, I've done enough of my coffee things. I have other sheets in the oven right now, but I have open space. Before I decide what I'm going to put in this, here's what I do. You want to make sure that these larger parts of your cookie, the next cookie that you're doing, are about the same, because otherwise you won't get even bakes on things. So this, the backpack for me, see how the middle is about the size of the middle of that? This will be a good one for me to add to this tray. If it were a mini or something like that, I would not want to add that. Now I'm at a point where I went through my dough that was kind of thawed and I have open space here. So I'm thawing more dough. I'm re-rolling this dough and sticking it back in the freezer for later. This dough is thawing. So while that is thawing, I'm going to saran wrap cover this and put this in the refrigerator so that when I go to bake everything, it's all at a similar temperature of dough going in. So these guys came out. I used just a fondant smoother to get out any of the air bubbles, make them nice and flat for me because my dough does rise and it can spread just a tiny bit. So I put this across all of them and then, see, here's another sheet with parchment paper. I can very easily transfer to here and then this baking tray is ready to go. All right, 7:30 my time, girls are in bed. I'm setting an alarm for myself tonight for 11:30. It's my first night of cooking. I don't want to exhaust myself this week. I'm doing 3 nights. I haven't done it in a while, so I don't want to exhaust myself. So tonight I'm gonna do till 11:30 and then cut myself off, do my nighttime routine, get to bed. I have, I think, 9 colors right now that I need to do. My cookies tonight basically take every color, so at least I will have getting all the colors made out of the way. So let's see how long it takes me to color and bag 9 different colors. All right, let's talk about why I started things the way that I did. I'm really big on you need to have a strategy when just to cookie smarter and use your time wisely. So I started out with these coffee cups because they have multiple layers. Now, in the time it took me, this is all a wet on wet painted technique that I teach on my Patreon. In the time that it took me to go through and do each of these, I started with the straws and then this bottom part. And by the time I worked my way around, I was able to come back and do this stripe part. Now I can let these sit under the fan and move on to another cookie design, and then they'll be dry enough for me to come back and do this. But this one has the most layers to it, so that's why I started with this. What I'm going to move to next are my green backpacks because I already have my green and my brown open, and I don't have to open another icing just yet. All right, I started on my green backpacks. I'm letting a portion of them dry so that I can have dimension on the next section. So my plan on this, these banner parts are yellow. These are the white part, which is where I do the little doodles. If you see those over on Missy P Sweets page. And I'm going to hold off on doing the yellow banners tonight because I'm not planning to mix up my blue tonight. And that's one of the letters for writing the kids' names, and I like to apply detail lines when my lower layer is still somewhat damp. It helps those lines adhere and not crumble when you're going to package. But I want to make sure I get this white done so that tomorrow I can come back with my marker. It's dry enough that I can come back with my marker and doodle. So again, you're just thinking through strategy. All right, y'all, it's 11:30. I completed 3 trays. Always shocking how long it takes. But strategy here was to get more complicated stuff done, which I did. This will be ready to package in the morning. I might take a picture of those all together, would be cute. But yeah, those will be ready. This, all I need are marker details. So I could even do that in the morning when the girls are eating breakfast, and then those will be ready to package. The numbers need the doodles and then yellow banners and names, but these white ones, those also only need marker detail and those can be packaged. So it's all about like batching things so that you can package and move on and be done, check it off the list. Here's what I baked and did not get to. So numbers first thing tomorrow, as soon as I can, I'll be doing the white on these again so that it has time to dry and I can do the doodles on those. These are for an apple wet on wet thing. This will probably be tomorrow night that I'll do that. And these are some other pink backpacks. That again will be a tomorrow project once I mix my blues that I need. And then I'll have a few more that I need to bake tomorrow before the huge batch of minis, which might be the day after. So that's where I'm at. I'm going to clean my space and I'm gonna go do my nighttime routine, which you guys can pop over to Missy P Sweets and see that. All right, we are back from the library. The girls are eating lunch. I am taking a quick picture and I'm going to show you guys. This is one of my go-to things that I do that makes it so easy and just provides you more content to do whenever you're fulfilling pre-sale on the tray that you had, and just line them up like that for a cute little moment. You know, I'm going to link our episode that I show how to do the backdrop and tips on editing photos. I had originally heated up the oven thinking that I would bake more during lunch. However, two things. I only have 10 trays, so I have to be mindful of like, how can I batch things to finish things and get things packaged so that I can create more trays for myself when it comes to baking time. The other thing is I could bake more, but I already have some baked that if I got them flooded right now, I would be able to do the doodles and things on them tonight. So again, think it through. Thing you can do as soon as your pre-sales close is go ahead and get your names or any personalization stuff in a format that as soon as you're ready to use your projector, or however you put that on your cookies, it is all ready to go. All right, I just finished family stuff for the night, so I'm just now getting to cookies. So let's talk about goals for tonight. I need to clear trays so that tomorrow I can do all of my sweet tooth grab bag and mini cookies. So I can doodle these, I can do the banners, and I can put names on those tonight so that tomorrow it's picture package. These, I've already taken pictures and shared those, so I can just do details tonight and package these tonight. These, same as those ones over there. These, I can finish these out and package tonight. That is for sure happening. Then the other thing that I want to do is these will be happening last. This is a wet on wet technique and they will need pen marks tomorrow. So I don't need to do these first because I'm not going to be able to finish them until tomorrow. These will be the last things that I do, as well as the backpacks. It's the same deal. I can't finish them out tonight, so I'm going to. So there's no reason for me to spend time doing these first and then getting so tired that I'm not finishing these. And then this tray is wasted another day. No, that's wasteful time. I'm going to save these until the end of the night and do what I can to get through them so that tomorrow I can finish them. Done. I have a few extras. I don't have it in me to put doodles on those, so I'm going to work on the sides of the banners, and then I will probably package these, and then I will be able to fill in the rest of that banner. Earlier today, how do I decorate the ones in the middle? Do I use a cookie bridge, which is a great option? That is by LC Sweets. She carries those. I personally don't, so this is on the edge, and I always either rotate some this direction so I can reach it, or I'll do it like I could section them this way. So generally I'm covering half a tray at one time, and I'm able to reach everything perfectly fine that way. Okay, cornstarching. There's different ways to do this. I use the fluffy brush. You want to cornstarch anytime you have painted, airbrushed heavily, or you have marker, because it helps seal it so that it does not stick to the bag. And I just dab it on. You don't really have to let it sit or anything. And just dabbing, dabbing, dabbing. These are extras, so I'm gonna bag those 3 in just a single bag. And then if I decide I wanna sell them, that's just gonna keep them fresh. Okay, tapping that off. brushy, 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 brushy. You want to make sure you brush the underside too, so that it doesn't look like there are drugs on your cookies. After you've bagged, this is just Tupperware that I have this in. My favorite way to do it is wardrobe boxes. Those work well, but what you want to make sure is that they're standing straight like little soldiers. You don't want anything leaning against each other because that's how they break. So, if you are new to this journey this week or missed it last night, the reason that I held off on doing my yellow banner was because I wanted to make sure that I had all of these colors to write the names. I find, especially when you're doing pre-sale, detail lines like this, putting it on a just crusted or not completely dry base layer helps it not crumble and just helps it adhere. Home stretch for me tonight, folks. Home stretch. The last thing I want to say on this, so this is my sample cookie. My phone keeps doing that weird thing. Anyways, big proponent of putting a puffy layer like that over a not fully dry base. It's going to help it not crater. So I think through that when I'm doing this stuff. So I know I'm not going to let this sit overnight. I have to come back and put that layer on. I'm done. Here's my loot. It's just pen work and packaging and pictures for these tomorrow. So I will get all those trays back. I did not get to these. This is all wet on wet. So my hope is that tomorrow during lunch or sometime earlier in the day, I can get these done so that that little tiny bit of pen work I can do tomorrow night. And I've got lots of minis to do tomorrow night. That's it. You learn with every time you do it. I'm now realizing today I totally should have gone Cookie Virtuoso style on these things and just done those as royal icing transfers. And I could have made those like last week. Ugh.
I'm so in love with you, and I hope you know, darling, your love is more than worth its weight in gold. I'm so in love with you, and I hope you know, darling, your love is more than worth its weight in gold.
All right, so all that stuff is packaged. When I say packaged, I mean heat sealed. It still will have to get a tag and a bow on it, but I tend to do that last. And so I am finishing cutting out my tags, and the girls are painting their Barbies.
Hair.
Their Barbie's hair. So that's
Yep.
interesting.
And get a tattoo.
But this is like an absolute must.
Get the
This is a
tattoo.
2-inch hole punch. I will link it. While the girls were playing, I went ahead and took advantage of that time, and I rolled out my Sweet Tooth Grab Bag cookies because when I go to do my minis, I go down to this one. This is a 1/2-inch guy that I get aftermarket, and I don't want to roll. I wanted to get them done first before I take it off to do all of my minis. Sweet Tooth Grab Bags. I sell them in half dozen and full dozen. I've literally made hundreds of more dollars the past 2 pre-sales doing these because I make them cheaper than a decorated cookie. It's just for people who want extra cookies in the house. And I tell them they are nothing fancy. They are 3-inch cookies for me, and they are made with whatever leftover icing I have. So no commitment on colors or anything. Since these are literally the last thing I do, I am doubling them up. I just laid parchment paper over and doubled it up so I can put my tray lid on, and I'm not wasting pans, and I whip them out after I'm done with everything and ice them. All right, I just got our little one down for a nap. She does still take naps because she gets up really, really early, but she will only take them if I lay down and scratch her back and put music on and all that stuff. And then our oldest is upstairs reading and doing quiet time. So I'm gonna try and tackle as many of these wet on wet cookies tonight. I could choose to bake my minis, but if I tackle these wet on wet ones now, then later tonight, they should be dry enough for me to do the little pen marks on them. All right, Mike is taking over girl duties for the rest of the night. Hallelujah, bless him, bless those wonderful partners. My goal is to basically finish all cookies tonight. So I'm going to bake my minis. My oven is preheating. I had about, I think, 6 wet on wet apples to complete. So I'm gonna do that while the oven is preheating. Y'all, I have one cookie cutter that I've been waiting and holding out on, and it was supposed to get here an hour ago. So I didn't have to hand cut all these. I'm gonna give it 1 more hour, and then I might have to hand cut some stuff. And then yeah, I've got to do all my minis and finish stuff out, so follow along. Base coat on ABC's done. White is done on here. I'm going to start with my red apples, then come back over here and do the side of the banner, then do the green apples, do the middle of the banner, do the blue on the ABCs, do the names on the banners, pens, and then all of these. All right, those are all done. Those are ready for packaging tomorrow. All of my minis done and drying tonight. Those go with these. And these are ready to package. These just need the doodles and final touches tomorrow. And that is the shebang on all that stuff. So we're coming over to the Sweet Tooth grab bags. This is all of my leftover icing. We are going to see what I can get through, and anything after this is just white. I'm gonna cut the tips on any of my outline bags really thick because these don't need to be like pretty. They need icing on them and they need to get done. That's all that people expect. So I took some pictures over there. That's my filtered light. You do not want direct sunlight. And I am starting to work through my packaging over here. So everything is stickered. I'm about to package up these minis. These ones are done. The girls are organizing sprinkles. So that's what we're doing. All right, let's talk packaging. When you are doing a pre-sale, I cannot stress this enough, packaging will take longer than you think. If you are doing boxes, if you are doing tags, if you are doing bows, give yourself a full day or a full night just for packaging. Because it's not just that, then you have to organize orders, put them in their bags, make everything look pretty and presentable, and it's a lot of work. And at this point, I'm exhausted. I have a pickup tomorrow morning, and this afternoon and evening, we have back to school stuff for our kids. So if you are able to get everything done and then put bows and tags on everything at one time, that's great. That's an efficient way to do it. Here is how I'm going to do it. Again, just like working through efficiencies and the time that I know that I have for myself. All right, here's my process. These are tomorrow morning pickups. I already went through the order forms and decided what size bag they needed. I've got my hot glue gun ready. I already adhered my thank you tags to my bags. These are the tags that are gonna go on my cookies. These are my bows. These are all of my heat sealed cookies. I've got exactly how I am packaging them, what tags go with what, and I'm just gonna roll through them. Real quickly on packaging, because this is getting a bow and a tag, I heat seal it a little further away than I normally would because the tag for this will go here after I do the bow, and so I need room for that to not completely cover the cookie. There you go, just a little dollop of the hot glue, and that's ready to go. And I go to put the cookies in the bag. I always put them back to back so that the front icings are not touching each other. Just helps prevent breakage. Here's what my sweet tooth grab bag looks like. So this is a full dozen for me, and this is the half dozen. See how even like the outline on that is white and the flood is green. I mean, it's truly just for taste and for people to have little munchies around the house. I do individually heat seal them because I feel like, well, one, it keeps them fresh, and two, people are only going to eat one or two at a time, and that's going to keep it more fresh than this bag. I will be emailing all of my people, and because it's so hot here during my pickup time, I'm going to have them text me when they're 5 minutes out, and I will set it on the front porch, and that is how they pick up. And I'll be done. Just a quick note on extras. So I had mentioned a lot of times, like, I'm just going to bag these extras in one bag. So this is how I bagged the extras. I didn't even put doodles on some of them just in case the extras didn't sell. And then once all of my orders are done, that's when I personally just posted my extras to my Facebook page or to my neighborhood Facebook page, because that's just easier for me to be able to drop off or pick up. And I just handle that via Venmo or PayPal. I think Chelsea uploads hers to her website, so just to keep it clean and easy for her. But I just do this, and whenever one is claimed, I put a little sticky note on it with their name, or these have to be personalized still, and then I will package it up and either deliver if it's in the neighborhood or they can pick up. So that is, I do wait until all of my orders are done and picked up to make sure that I have not missed anything and that these truly are my extras. I typically try and do it all at once because that way I can just get right into the groove of decorating, and then I freeze any of my leftover icing. And then if I have leftover at the end, it goes towards my sweet tooth grab bags. I get them printed, and I will link to our episode where we show how to do that. It's just going to give you the best color versus printing them at home. And also I use their free self-serve cutting machines to cut them. This is not a dumb question at all, and I'm going to link to our episode where we talk about when you're starting your business and you need to look at your cottage food laws for your state, and that will indicate what you need to have listed on your products. Icing dry time is really going to depend on a lot of different things. What your royal icing recipe is, what your humidity level is, and your heat is. So dehumidifiers, fans, and you just have to do what's right for your area. During pre-sales, I rarely use my dehydrator because of the amount of time it takes to come back to other things. Things dry on their own. So definitely a fan on high and a dehumidifier in your decorating area. I personally use a site that I built on WordPress, and it uses Square on the back end for all of my order processing. But I'm going to link to our episode where we show you how to set up a Google Doc form, and that's a great way to start. My personal system does. If you're using Google Doc forms, it does not. So you will want to create invoices, either in Excel or a Word document or something, and send those along to your customers. Consistency in how you communicate, where you communicate. That way they know how to find you. They know when you're going to have something for sale, and also consistency in your product. Keep it up. For this particular one, I did not, but freezing cookies is a great way to get ahead, especially come holiday season. So I'm going to link to our episode where we show you how to freeze your cookies. For pre-sales, I keep all of my emails in my inbox until the pre-sale closes. And then I will go through all those emails and file them into their own subfolder in my email as I'm printing out all the invoices. I actually love using boxes for pre-sales, but I was trying to be strategic this time and not buy a bunch more packaging, and I wanted to work through what I had. So I was low on boxes, so I decided to go with bags this time. Again, this one really depends on just your recipe and your area. Mine are completely fine out for at least 48 hours, sometimes even longer before bagging. And when you do heat seal, the moisture that's left in there actually kind of re-softens. So many questions about those sweet tooth grab bags. So here's a quick little recap. It is a great way to boost your sales. It does not have to be anything fancy. That's the whole point. You're basically doing a simple flood. All I did was use any leftover icing I had, and if I needed more, I just mixed up some more white icing. I did pre-sell them. I personally did 3-inch cookies and I sold them for $3 a piece. So they were in a half dozen order or a full dozen order. These would be great to do as minis if you wanted to, or even to have at pickups if people wanted to do an additional thing. The deal is most of the time people are buying gifts for people, and sometimes they just want some cookies at home, or they've never even gotten to try your cookies, and what better way? So it's a great one to do. It created orders where there wouldn't have been any, and it almost doubled and tripled some orders. So I hope you guys try it out. That's it for us, folks. Let us know in the comments down below if you enjoyed the video and any more questions that you guys have about it. Thanks so much and have a wonderful day.